right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, April 8th, 2019 meeting of the Planning and Development Committee, and we have a quorum. So I call us to order. And our first item of business is approval of our regular meeting minutes of March 11th, 2019. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor of approval, then please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Okay, 6-0 approval. Items for consideration, oops, I guess we'll go to public comment. We have 3 people, I believe, from the applicant for the car wash. Would you like to speak with us?
Good evening, Chairman Revelle, Alderman. My name is Mark Daniel. I represent HPCW. Since you've got a larger meeting coming up shortly after this, I'm going to speak on behalf of the developer in this instance. We have our team here if you have any questions on the project. HPCW is the owner. They certainly appreciate the time staff has put in on this project. We've been working on this for slightly more than 2 years with the city, and we've got a few conditions that face us that are acceptable to us, helping out with the bus stop, working on some different environmentally friendly things. But at this property, a car wash is a good use, primarily because it takes traffic from the existing street network in the area. It does add some employment, but it provides a convenience to residents in Evanston. If you think about the alternatives for use on Oakton, where you've got a significant concern over left turns and slowing down traffic, you need to find a use that can live with the right in, right out, such as this car wash. I believe that the design of this project fits the city of Evanston. It will have brick features that are attractive. The one development exception that we have asked for is a separation of one of the canopy roofs from the building by less than 10 feet. That's an architectural design issue. We do have the ability to attach that canopy to the building, but it just doesn't look as good when they're attached. And you'll see 80-90% of these buildings do not have attached canopies. So that's the only exception that we're seeking. We are dealing with a permitted use in this instance. The one reason why we're here on planned development is because we're in the overlay district. So any development in that district needs to go through this process where you're engaged in specialized planning for each particular development that comes along. If you have any questions, I will be happy to respond during the consideration of the item, but I do appreciate the time and effort that staff has put in on this project and your review of this as well.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
So why don't we finish up with the public comment, and then we'll come back to this item in the agenda, unless you want to jump in with a question, Don? You're looking. Yeah.
Just the applicants?
We have 3 applicants, and then we have Priscilla Giles for a public comment. Is Priscilla? Yeah, here we go. And then we'll get to the 2 items on our agenda.
Before 2000, there was a foster plan that the name was later changed by the city council. There was a plan there. They were asking for some kind of development that would bring jobs to the 5th Ward. Now we have housing that is displacing people. This is not what we asked for. The name change was not from the citizens and the residents of the 5th Ward. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so for items for consideration, we have 2 items this evening. P1 is Ordinance 18-0-19, amending City Code Section 6-15-14-7, active ground floor uses. Plan Commission and staff recommend adoption of this ordinance, amending the zoning ordinance to revise the listing of appropriate ground floor uses in the Central Street Overlay District. This is for introduction. Is there a second? Are there any questions? Any discussion by the committee? This basically will make the overlay district match the underlying base uses, so it's consistent together. Okay, then, all in favor of this ordinance, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Okay, that's 6-0. And then item P2, ordinance 13-30-0-19, granting a special use permit for a planned development at 2425 Oakton. Plan Commission and staff recommend adoption of the ordinance for approval of the planned development for a car wash facility with 20 vacuum spaces and 4 parking spaces in the Industrial District and the Redevelopment Overlay District. The applicant is seeking one site development allowance for an accessory structure that is 3 feet from the principal structure, where 10 feet is required. And Alderman Fleming is requesting suspension of the rules for introduction and action on the ordinance at our meeting this evening.
Move introduction and suspension of the rules for action.
Second.
Okay. Alderman Rainey.
Yes, I've spoken with Alderman Fleming about her request to suspend the rules, and I've explained to her that I am not going to support that. And I do not think this is a good place for a car wash. There's a car wash immediately across the street from this location. And I've expressed to several the problems with this location, and I've been told that we've taken care of all the traffic issues, and I have been involved in all the traffic issues. I'm a regular user of the facility across the street. I'm a regular visitor to the sports dome. I'm going to eventually support this, but I am telling you, this is going to be a location where there is going to be significant stress and problems with traffic. And I don't know who on the boards that have approved this, especially Dapper. I just can't wait for them to see what the reality is going to be. I am certain that probably the theory is interesting, but the reality is going to prove a disaster. So I am not supporting suspending the rules, so I will support introduction. I think several people will be here at the council to voice concern at our next meeting.
Okay. Alderman Ruth Simmons.
Just having also spoken with Alderman Fleming, there, from my understanding, have been multiple, I believe, 3 community meetings, as well as it having passed and coming with recommendation from committee and staff. And with that, I would support the request of the alderman for introduction and action and suspension of the rules.
Well, but I'm not voting for suspending the rules, so it's not going to happen.
Right.
My
Because that
board
needs-
is right
that needs
across
to be
the street.
unanimous, right.
Not going to happen. And she understands that I'm not supporting it.
Okay, so with that representation, I'll withdraw my motion, and I will move that we introduce.
Okay. Further questions? Any questions for our applicants or, oops, did I get a second? Thank you. Any other discussion? Then I think we're ready for a vote. All in favor of ordinance 30-0-19 for introduction this evening, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Okay, then we're ready for introduction at 6-0. Any other items for discussion? Yes, communication.
I believe everyone received the survey for the planned development public benefits item. We'll recirculate it tomorrow, but we're looking for people to give feedback on the little survey so we can return it in a couple weeks. Thank you.
Okay. So any other items for our committee discussion? Then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Thank you. Okay, we are adjourned. Council at 7:15.